Hello everybody and welcome to Justle Muscles stream again. We are trading again here, looking at before the market is opening. How are you doing, guys? How's life? Did you trade yesterday? I was supposed to stream yesterday, but um, yeah, I just forgot the time change. Honestly, I'm just gonna be honest about it. Yeah, we had a time change already like earlier. Um, but I didn't look at the time too much and I forgot that, oh wait, it was changed. So I actually missed the session, or I was late to the session. Did not end up getting a trade anyways once I started trading, and then I had a friend over. So just figured to not trade yesterday because of me being late and then having some guests. But hey, we're back today and we're gonna start with our classic pre-market preparation. I have to open my Epic Pen tool here. Where are you, tool? Open? Where is it? Not opening it, I have to figure this out. Open Task Manager. Epic Pen is open somewhere, but I'm not sure where it is open. But we will get it open just in a second here, boys. Just wait. Just wait a second, and I'll get it. It's in the other screen. Oh, now I got it. Great. Great. Amazing. Alright, let's start drawing a little bit here. We always like to draw because it's visually much better to look at. So, ES. I think we have a pretty clear play. We had a pretty balanced day yesterday, even if it was very volatile, but that was because of the news. But we ended up being quite balanced. I think the story right now is balance, and today I looked at the news already. Previously, no big news incoming, so I do expect to see some balance, possible balance today. But we have a very wide overnight range as well, so it's probably gonna be more volatile than it has been the few other sessions here, which of course is not too bad to see. We have some great risk reward on the table here. Yeah, so for ES, what is our game plan today on ES? Well, let's look at the market. We are seeing balance. I would suggest that we probably move back to balance as well. Something like this, where we move outside, we run the lows, possibly the overnight low, but maybe even yesterday's low. And I think this is a nice level. It also, intertwines with other daily lows. And if we run these levels, move back and fill the gap. That's what I'm looking for today, specifically. Then my second choice for another type of play is that we would open up. And we open up and start rejecting value. And we reject value, and then we have a downwards push, and we would probably create new value at the lower prices. So these are my two scenarios. The only play I'm gonna play today is the yellow play. I would have to grade the setup first before knowing. Let's see what type of gap we have here today. So we will take the ruler tool and we will see about how big the gap is. Actually, I had to fix my gap. So the red line here is actually the previous close. This one is false because of the time change, and I haven't changed the settings to accommodate for that. So as long as we are inside of this 94, I'm still gonna take the trade. But if we go below that, then I'm not gonna take the trade on ES. So it's fairly close if we're gonna take it or not. But yeah, there could be a gap to sell play here today. Let's look at the YM market. Here we have more structure, which is what I like. So we have two things here in YM. We have a Porlo, which is a magnet. So this overnight low is really looking forward to being taken out. We don't know in which way it's gonna get taken out, but we know that it's a magnet level. We also have some singles here from our previous session, October 26th. So last... no, that's not the correct session, is it? That's actually my birthday, but yeah. I'm looking for a move through the overnight low and hopefully get some type of stop run here, because this is a poor low, and a move back to value. The second option is that we actually move down here to the single prints and do the same type of bounce back to value. So we have like a bounce outside of value, people are trying to sell, and then we would find some buying. And I think it fits well in this type of bullish market as well. The same thing as in ES. The second option is that we run the single prints above, and then we find rejection into lower prices, and then we would find new balance in these specific areas here. By the way, say to me if the music is too loud, or if there's anything you want to ask about my pre-market preparation or anything else. I'm happy to give you some answers, but this is what we are looking on the YM. And if you just joined the stream and you missed something on my ES prep and you want to know, I can always go back, so just let me know in chat. But yeah, two options: push back into value, or then we take out the single prints and push into value. That's the first scenario. And the second scenario is we open up, we take the overnight high, we take the singles, and then we reject, and then we're probably gonna move into lower prices and create some balance inside of these areas here. That's the plan for YM. It looks like a decent setup overall for the gap close. We didn't have any big news today either anymore, so those were yesterday. Of course, I have to make myself sure that that's the case. Today is the 30th, right? So just making sure that that's the case, but I already looked at this earlier. Yeah, we have the ECB press conference. That's like we have some European news, but yeah, nothing major. You know, we have the bill auction, but that's not something we care about too much. So no major news. That was yesterday, and that's why we have such, you know, big volatility still left in the market. But yeah, we're looking for those two specific plays on the YM. Let's look at RTY. RTY is 100% the worst setup out of these two markets that I just covered. We are still barely inside of the previous day's range, and yesterday we closed in balance, so I still feel like balance is gonna be something that we are drawn to. So I can see a world where we do something like this and we just balance around these areas 100% in RTY. The only issue is that the play is not as clear, and like once I look at this market, I don't really see a specific you know, play, but we could be in, you know, rhythm, and we could be making still a higher high possibly. The overnight high here, an old overnight high that is the high for RTY, is very bearish, right? So this could be a good rejection as well. So I'm a little bit conflicted on what's gonna happen in this specific market, so I'm not gonna engage or trade it today. You know, there could be a setup, but when there's so much conflict in a market, I don't like to trade it. I don't trade NQ. I'll just make that sure to everyone, but we can look at NQ and what I see. Here we go. We still have 10 minutes, so we have well time to cover NQ if there's people who like to trade. I think most of the people usually trade NQ as well, which is an interesting thing nowadays. You see people trade more NQ than ES, at least on the internet side of things. Well, NQ pretty much the same story. I think the single prints here are gonna be a magnet, and then it's just a question: do we take the single prints and move back to balance, or continue the uptrend that we have had for a longer period of time, or do we move up and balance, or reject from balance into the singles and then find some balance at lower prices? These are my scenarios, but very likely to just find, you know, a push out of balance into balance again. I think that's a very likely scenario. Usually balance like to follow balance, and we really didn't get any trends yet on NQ even yesterday, so you know, the range was wide, but there wasn't really anything huge going on. Alright, that's for the markets. We got some reviews done. Pre-market prep is ready. We're just gonna wait for the market to open.
Lyhyttä ja pitkää elävästä elämästä. Viikonloppu lyhyt. Wilhelm Hujoppi pitkä. Eloihmisen yksi.
Getting some ads on my. I do have Spotify Premium. Maybe I should put that on. Oh well, it's too late now. I just picked out a random playlist with uncopyrighted music. Well, yeah, if you have someone who has any questions about my pre-market preparation, wants to know about my view on the markets, you know, I'm here, right? Just write in chat. If you're a new trader and you're looking for structure and you know, you want to learn how to be a trader, a full-time trader, let me know in chat and I'll try to help you to get to a good start. I do some trading coaching as well, but the stream is a way to provide free content and free education for people. You should not copy my trades though. I do not believe in copy trading at all. It's a total scheme. Everyone sees the market differently. Even if you would trade my strategy, you don't know the nuances, you don't know how to execute it properly. And then if I would stop trading, you know, live, you would end up being empty-handed. So build something for yourself. Do not copy anyone. And even the best traders are wrong. So never put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak. Historical results do not do future results either. I think that's the famous quote. I can't remember the quote word for word, but you know, it's what pretty much everyone says. Alrighty, just waiting for the market to open a little bit. Taking it easy here. 5 minutes. We're still barely trading below the line that we are actually looking for a gap to sell trade. YM like a pretty clean setup, I would say. 27%. Are we inside of the previous day's range in YM? Yes, we are. Looking like a beautiful one. So now I have to make sure that is YM my main setup today. Looking quite good on YM. ES and YM are quite good both. I would maybe pick up ES over YM, but then again YM has the poor low, so maybe the win rate on YM is actually better. But we will be trading both. We're gonna trade both 100%. Okay, I'll make sure that I have my bracket orders on every market right now, because that mistake I made on Monday where I have my streaming set up on, so my screens are set up a little bit differently from what they are usually. I forgot to put on my bracket orders on Monday, and I had to do a small off and off scalp play to get my bracket orders on my main trade. Which a play I've never really done before, but that was in a moment. Wanted to get my bracket orders in, because when you have your bracket orders, they cancel each other, right? And that's the huge advantage of having them, because you can leave, and if your stop gets triggered, it also leaves or removes your other orders from the market. So they get automatically cancelled, and then when you have bracket orders, you have always the same preset, so it's very easy to adjust the preset. I do suggest using always bracket orders when you're entering trades. This makes life so much easier, rather than, you know, you have to start pressing extra buttons to get your orders in place. And when you use bracket orders, you can't do mistakes either with your orders, where you put you have a buy order but you meant it as a sell order. Bracket orders automatically put your stop and your target, so you're always safe from mistakes, and that's the reason I use bracket orders myself as well. It's for sure a great way to save yourself from some easy mistakes, and I've made those mistakes myself, so you know, it's something that everyone does. You shouldn't be embarrassed, but once you do a mistake, learn from it and change your order types to bracket orders. Alright, ES is not presenting a setup here, so we might have to look at YM. Right now we are just outside our range here on ES that we are looking for usually. But of course we still have 2 minutes left, so anything could change. We could get a setup on both markets. Right. But this is a poor low. Look at this poor low at YM. Oh, I want to see this level run. I'm gonna put TPO level on YM as well. I believe we had one. YM TPO is at... to zoom in a little bit. 47366. 47366. So here we do have some single prints. Alright, it ran already the poor low. Pre-market. So... and we are actually outside of the previous day's range, so that makes a huge difference. We might have to change our strategy a little bit here going into this. Going into this trade, depending on where we open. These kinds of days are prep-wise the hardest, because things change, right? Things change, and it could mean that there's no setup for me. So I really want to make sure I'm on the right side of the market before we get into trades. Just 15 seconds left. ES is maybe not trade today. ES is inside of previous day though, which is nice thing to see. Alright, we are getting YM. YM is 100% our main trade today. Main trade today. Yes. Just outside of our allowed range, so ES trade is off the table. YM is the market we are looking for today for gap to sell setup, but it kinda ran the poor low already pre-market, which is kinda unfortunate. Again, we have some very annoying ads. Won't you look at YM going aggressively off? I don't wanna look at ES and what it's looking like. If we get a perfect reaction, I might take the ES trade, but it has to be so perfect. Okay, there's a big buyer on ES. Or big and big, but put the opacity down a little bit, because we can't even get an idea of what's going on with the order blocking my whole screen. Alright, so YM already running these highs here. Now the question is, can we actually break and close above these highs? Or do we fall back and run these low here? And we might be looking at the single prints here. Honestly, there's not a lot of good setups here today, looking at the opening for me specifically, my strategy. If you have any watchers here who need coaching, need guidance in their trading, let me know, because I will have more time today than on my previous sessions as well, because it's looking like there might not be a trade today, just based on what's going on. Yes, quite decent though. We have some negative delta here on ES. Buyers and sellers on both sides. Both sides. And YM is looking like it's gonna close the gap here. We're already out of a trade, out of the open. And we closed the gap in YM. Or did we? No, we didn't. 1 point away. Now we did. The YM play is already off the table. ES is a different thing, but this is not looking like a clean low for me. So YM trade, pre-market prep trade is already done. We kinda had the same play I already planned out, but we did not quite get the entry there, which is unfortunate. Yeah, we ran the poor low in pre-market. So a minute before we opened, we ran the low that we were looking for to enter, but I have rules to not enter pre-market because it's very easy to FOMO in pre-market and then get stopped out once the market opens and there's some increased volatility. So I didn't get trade, which would have been amazing, but gotta listen to your rules. That's the most important thing when you're a trader. You gotta listen to your rules, you gotta follow your plan, and you gotta know what your plan is. But this frees up a lot of time for me, because now my plan setup is gone. I'm still looking at ES, but it's a very low possibility setup as well, statistically for me. So if there's someone who's watching and is a new trader and needs education or needs help with something, with their journey, or has just questions about my trading, my strategy, my look on trading in general, just let me know in chat and I can help you. My plan is also to have more educational content for traders, so I'm gonna start bringing people who I'm coaching on streams, so you can kind of see how I'm teaching people. But if you want to be one of these people as well, I can do it free on stream. Usually, you know, as a trading coach, I take hundreds, if not thousands of dollars when I have, you know, customers. But you have a chance to get it for free on this specific stream. So I would 100% try to take that opportunity and use it. But yeah, ES selling off here. delta is increasingly low. Looking like a big sell-off. Big sell-off here. Are we gonna break these daily lows that we have here that we already looked at in pre-market? Might do it in ES here. A very strong sell-off. Very strong sell-off. Let's look at the PNF chart to get some information. Minus 2k delta on this specific rotation, which is huge delta. Huge delta shift. So as you can see here, at this specific level, we had a obvious fight between sellers and buyers. We had sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, buyers, sellers, buyers, 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 buyers. And you can see how it changed. You know, we had like a lot of buying delta show up here, but nothing happened. So that's when you ask the question, okay, well, if nothing happened and the buyers are trying to push, but it's like a wall eating up their market orders, and then you get a selling move. It's a beautiful, beautiful order flow play, this one. And this is, you know, you don't have to make things so complicated. Just ask, is something out of the ordinary? And you have a huge fight here at the overnight low, right? The overnight low is exactly here. And we are looking at our PNF chart with some order flow tools here. And you can see the delta. We have negative delta, buying delta, negative delta, buying delta, buying delta, negative delta, buying delta. And suddenly it changes from, you know, both sides being equally strong in delta to buyers trying to really make something happen, but price doesn't move. We keep the same prices. And then once you see the sellers, you know, move the market and we break the VWAP, RTH VWAP, that's a great play. It's an amazing play, right? So stuff like this, you can really learn from it if you're just paying attention to the market dynamics and how buyers and sellers are interacting with each other. And when there's something that tells you, well, now it's something out of the ordinary, now something is weird, I'm not sure what's going on, and that changes and the other side, you know, lets up, it's an amazing trade, right? But that's always in hindsight, you know. I only trade my setups that I have already pre-planned, pre-market. So I don't get to take these trades, but that combined with my pre-planned trade is an amazing setup. An amazing setup. And that's why I suggest everyone to use some type of order flow tools where you can see difference between buyers and sellers and how they are interacting with each other. So this is like a combination of a footprint chart and a PNF chart. So if you have more questions about that, I can let you know, but the PNF chart pretty much shows me rotations. It shows me 10 tick rotations, and once it moves 10 ticks against the current, it creates a new candle. So instead of having a time-based chart, I'm seeing rotations forming up. And then based on volatility, I can increase the tick size. Right now I have 10, and I think that's a pretty good number. And again, you can see the same thing again here. We have a fight again going on. Sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers, sellers, buyers. And now, if we see only buyers and price doesn't move anywhere, and we have a move in favor, looks like a good long trade if I was a scalper, which I'm not anymore. But I do like to look at the order flow tools for the reason, because you can really get some idea of where people are having a fight and which side is giving up. So this way you can really time your entries at a good spot. You know, it doesn't always work, but you can find nice areas, and it's initially live support and resistance. A lot of traders, they look at levels only, but with tools like this you can see support and resistance in real time, which is amazing. And if you're trading futures, right, compared to Forex or other markets, it's so great to have these tools. Because in Forex or stock markets or whatever, you don't have as much data. You don't have a centralized marketplace where everyone has the same data. Well, in stocks you do, but in Forex, for example, you have these different brokers, and everyone's showing different data. So you're a question mark. If you're trading ETFs, you're a question mark. If you're trading CFDs, you're getting different data. But when you're trading futures, every trader is seeing the exact same data and seeing the exact same orders or on their level too. So you can use this data in your advantage. When I trade Forex or other markets, I feel like a big puzzle piece is missing because you don't get that quality data that you get in futures. And it's a huge reason why I am a futures trader, because you get that data and everyone's on the same line and there's no, bullshit between brokers. Obviously, you could say that that's also an advantage because you can find some inefficiencies between brokers. But if that's not your strategy, I think there's only downside to having a non-centralized trading product. Now you can see buyers are trying to push. Are they able to actually push through? If they are, it's gonna be looking like a great long trade. And yeah, I mean, look at the buying delta and how it's reacting. Now the buyers are in control. Obviously, we have the RTH VWAP, but if I was to take a long trade, this was where I would be looking for a long trade. Obviously, I don't think the low here is clean, so it's very possible that we'll run the RTH VWAP and we run back, run the low, and then we turn. That's just how it likes to go usually. YM is very different. YM is very different. Look at YM. YM is just straight up trending upwards, and oh, my pre-market long plan was so good for this specific day, but we missed it by a mile. It was so close that we would get it. We already ran the level. Ran the level pre-market. Unfortunate. And as I already said previously, I have a rule that I do not get to trade pre-market, because that's usually, it's very easy to FOMO in pre-market, and then the market opens and takes your stop out, even if your technical setup is great. It's like taking a trade just before news. You want to wait for the news announcement, because the price action can be very random in a news announcement. Of course, afterwards your plan might happen, but it doesn't matter if your stop's gonna be run anyways. And that's kind of my logic there. So I never FOMO in pre-market. In previous years, I have done it, and I'll always notice that in the long run I lost money on that specific play. So I don't do that anymore. Looks like ES is gonna do the thing I was talking about, the run back, run the low, and back to value. That would be a classic type of play. We'll see. We did have a nice shift in delta there, for sure. You could see how the buyers took control from the sellers. Yes, struggling to make RTH VWAP here. Trying to really push through. I want to see if this 680 level reacts. It did have a reaction, and it's looking like it's holding a little bit. We do have some nice liquidity up here, so maybe the market wants to sweep that as well before doing something. 85 is a quite... A lot of people are gonna be PS short trades here around the RTH VWAP and look for a stop placement here at the 5 points. I believe we're gonna have a little run of these specific orders and then a rotation back down is my guess, but we'll see. Why I'm looking very bullish though. Why I'm looking like we're gonna get some type of trend day today. Still a balanced profile in a sense, but it's looking like it wants to break out and make a trend day. Do you have any questions in chat? Chat, let me know. How are you doing today? Are you trading something? Do you have any trades? Planned trades? Planned trades. Obviously, I'm trading on stream. I'm trading a performance account on Apex Trader Funding. I believe we have about 2.4k on this specific account. We were at almost 3k. Then we had a few losing days in a row. That's a part of trading. And yeah, 20 days of trading. And slowly growing this one as well. And you know, I could obviously take a payout right now, but I think I'm just gonna have this account as a chill account, let it grow slowly but surely, and use it for streaming purposes. And I can use my own account to take more serious trading, because trading on stream is always a little bit different. You know, I'm talking, I'm distracted, I'm looking at more things. My streaming or trading setup is different when I'm streaming. Always adds a little bit of, what would you call it, challenge. 100% adds some challenge. Let's look at the PNF chart again. I want you to look at that. Some strong buying delta. Could be that my read was wrong there, where I thought we would run this low once more. That was what I was seeing. Obviously it was a great long based on order flow there, but just looking at the structure of the market, I would have guessed that we would still run that low, because that's not a very clean low in itself. We didn't get like a clean reaction. We have a lot of wicks in that area that are not very decisive in a sense. So, but on a bigger time frame, that for sure looks like a clean low. On a 1 minute, it's not that clean low. But if you're going on a bigger time frame, things change. But YM is just flying today. Let's look at YM. Won't you look at this? YMCA. YM is just flying. Won't you look at that? Yeah, our long trade on YM would have been perfect if we got that. Unfortunately, we did not get it. But that's how it goes sometimes. You can't break your rules. In hindsight, it looks like a really big move. Obviously, we would have already taken our profits much earlier. We wouldn't go for the trend day anyways, but YM looking like it wants to break some kneecaps. Same thing on RTY. We had a pullback and then we are trending. ES actually, funnily enough, being the weakest of them all today. Still not at previous close in ES. I'm gonna look at my other screen here. Hmm. Oh. Looks like ES wants to close the gap today as well. Could be a clean one. I'm just waiting for the month to change so we can get back to the same old time zone. So Finland already changed to winter time, but US is like a 1 week behind. And that always makes things a little bit complicated because the timing is a little bit different, and I haven't changed my previous close settings just for a week. I know where the previous close is. I've made the line a guide there, so I know where it is for real. But the numbers are a little bit off on my charting program because of that. I'm just gonna get a trend day on ES probably as well because, well, I'm not sure. Every other market is pretty much trending, so might as well see ES following. A little bit unfortunate that we didn't get the entries. ES was so close to the entry range. So close to the entry range, but didn't quite deliver there. Well, hey, that's how it goes sometimes, right? That's how it goes sometimes, right? YM is so strong. Like, it was so much stronger than the other markets from the get-go. Talking with a trading friend here at the same time on Discord, so don't worry about me typing away. I don't really have anything to do. If anyone has any questions, let me know. But right now, the move is there. If you didn't get into the move, then yeah. YM is flying. YMCA. Well, it's a trend day. You can't really get into it here. Looks like I have an ad on YouTube, even if I have YouTube Premium. Nice. I guess I'm logged on the wrong account. But yeah, a trend day. I can't really get on the moves anymore. We were so close to getting that YM trade. But it did the move pre-market before I was allowed to take the trade, and then just flew away, and we missed that entry. But here, yes, I wasn't allowed to take this today just based on the size of the gap. My rules did not allow me to do that. The YM was the only setup, and look at this. Would have been a beautiful one. For sure, but sometimes you miss these, and hopefully the next time I can catch this huge move. But yeah, once it goes, it goes. I'm not someone who likes to chase when we get these trends. I think it's most of the time it's just best to stay away and you know, do something else if you can't get into the move early on. Obviously the risk reward always goes down as well when you start entering at the highs. You could still get a big huge you know, balance day if we have like a huge range like in the pre-market. If you look at the pre-market ranges, very big. So this is not like an out of an ordinary thing really, if you're gonna have a more volatile market. But I do really think that this is gonna be some type of trend day across the markets, and I'm just here to watch it. But hey, if there's any viewers right now watching, let me know if you have any good trades today, or you have gotten into trouble. If you have any questions about my trading or what I'm doing, let me know. And yeah, I'm also a trading coach, so if you need help with your trading and some direction, I'm also here to help you out for free. And that's the great thing with being on a live stream. I'm able to, you know, give thousands of, you know, dollars worth of coaching value that I usually take from my clients and give it for free. But yeah, not really anything to do, so I'm just, you know, I'm just watching. There's no trades for me today, I already know it, but I'm gonna stay here for a while if there's, you know, gonna be anyone who wants to talk in chat. But we're already done for today. It was a very fast trading session because all the pre-market plans kinda went to plan, but we did not get a trade. So sometimes it goes that way. But the reaction on the PNF chart was quite clean. But right now, if you're looking at it, like we have green delta across the board, it's still looking quite bullish on every market. Let's look at the ES one. ES, yeah, it's gonna go for the previous close as well. Very high probability. We do have some big delta on this specific move. Looks like some sellers are actually jumping in here, but usually it likes to do a small pullback and then continue anyways. So nothing out of the ordinary. I think this red line here, 2150, is a magnet for sure, and I think it's gonna get taken in the next 15 to 30 minutes. There's no news today, no catalysts, nothing else that we could really trade off. We always trade our plan only. So if the pre-market plan doesn't happen or we don't get the trade that we planned, we don't take any trades. That's how I trade it. And that's why when I'm streaming, I try to create other content and I try to create around education. So I love when I get some traders in the chat and I get to educate them. I get to talk about trading and, you know, help people out, because trading is a very hard thing to do. It's a very long journey and it's very easy to get stuck doing the wrong things. At least on YouTube and other platforms, there's so much information around the wrong things. You know, people focus on the wrong things. They focus on finding a very fast way of making money, which trading is not. Trading is a very long-term thing. You have to be consistent. You have to work on yourself a lot. So it's not a get-rich-fast scheme, and a lot of people really believe that, which is unfortunate. Unfortunate. All right. Only one trade this week so far, and that was a losing trade, so been a very slow week. But considering what the market has been doing, I think it makes sense to not have too many trades for my particular style. I'm pretty happy with it because, you know, with more trades there could be more negative PNL. Not been the greatest market. Usually these bull market situations are not the cleanest for a mean reversion trader like me. Yes, consolidating at VWAP here, finding some liquidity there, but I do believe we're gonna take the previous close on ES as well. Not a trade for me to take, but cool to see what happens on these markets. I don't have all my markets here. I don't trade NQ, for example, but if people are interested in content around NQ or even, you know, cattle or whatever market you like to trade, I can always chime in, but I am mainly an indice trader. NQ is obviously an indice, but it's a little bit too rough for me, right? It moves so crazily. I feel like it's very easy to get stopped out and FOMO'd in on NQ. I feel like you can get a more controlled setup on the other markets. NQ is like a Bugatti or something, you know, it's very fast, very aggressive. You can get some great volatility and great moves on it. But the Bugatti is hard to control, you know, it's very hard to control. You can spin it easily. It's like a F1 car, you know, if I went to drive an F1 car, I would probably spin it very, very fast. It's very hard to drive. Whereas if you're driving a Corolla or, you know, a normal family car, which I would compare ES to, for example, then it's much easier to control and it's much easier to brake and, you know, get it to do whatever you want. Even if you don't get this huge speed, but I don't need huge speed. For me, controlled, you know, decent average speed is gonna take me where I need to be. Trading is not about being fast and wanting to be a billionaire next week or a millionaire next week. You really want to take it slowly, a week by week, and, you know, even a few percent a month or a week will amount to a huge amount. Huge amount of money in the long term, but people forget that, and then once you blow up once, you destroy your whole compounding at once, which is unfortunate to see. Really, consistency is key, and like being someone who wins a lot and blows up a lot, a boom and bust trader is gonna destroy that the general idea of compounding fully. right now we are looking to pretty much close the gap. There's no trades to be taken here. Do we have any people in chat right now who are interested in anything, in just talking with me? If there are, let me know. Say hello in chat right now. Okay, let's make a deal. If we have someone in chat right now who says hello, I'll give them a coaching session worth $90 for free. For free, right now. Say hello and talk to me for a while. You're gonna get a coaching session worth 90 bucks. Deal? You have a great chance here. You can lock in a free coaching session for $90 worth of money if you talk in chat here for me for a while. Have a nice conversation with me, talk about your trading, and yeah, you can even join my Discord server and, you know, have a call with me. I don't really mind. I don't have any trades today. All my trades went and did its, you know, thing. We didn't get our entry. We're just, you know, trying to entertain ourselves here before I quit the stream. But if there's no one chat, no one who wants to ask anything or wants to redeem their free $90 coaching session with me, a trading coach who does this for a living, let me know. Yeah, ES is looking to get this 6.92150 level for sure. It's wanting to go there. It's a huge magnet, this level here. YM still in a trend. I do not see anything major going on right now. It's a poor high, so it's probably gonna break that high anyways. RTY having a bigger pullback, but we do have some low volume here, which is a great place to go long if you're looking for a continuation play. If you're a trend trader and you're looking for a continuation play, this is a great spot to enter, in my opinion. Of course, you have to wait for a good timing, but that's the only trade I'm seeing if I was to take a trade. Obviously, I only trade my plan, and my plan already went and did its thing, so we're just left here looking at the market, talking to people, enjoying our time. The glass is empty. No iced tea at home. That I might have to hit the supermarket after a stream. ES is having a small pullback. I think something like this could be possible, where we find ourselves in a zipper between ETH VWAP and RTH VWAP, and then we make a higher high into the gap close. That's something I'm seeing on ES right now. Very possible. Obviously, I don't really see any great risk reward. Maybe the only risk reward plays could be like a long trade of this RTH VWAP, where you could like get some risk reward. But if you're going for the high probability play, which is the break of the high of the zipper, then you don't really get a lot of risk reward if you enter here. Like there's really no stop position there, so it doesn't really make sense. But you know, structurally I can already see what's gonna happen here on ES possibly. YM is probably gonna take out this high at some point today. Well, yeah, a very bullish session from pretty much all the markets. YM is 100% the strongest out of the three. Like, ES had a pullback in the beginning, and that was kind of what I was looking for on YM as well. I wanted to see this poor low ran, and it ran it pre-market, but it didn't do it very convincingly. So, and it was pre-market, so I don't allow myself to take the trade, but the long trade setup was just beautiful on YM. ES did it a little bit cleaner with the move, you know, into the session, and then it moved with a V-shaped move. But yeah, we're looking at a probably a zipper here between the ETH and RTH VWAP, and then we're gonna, with higher probability, break into this red line here, which is yesterday's previous close. That's kind of the play I'm seeing here. But my plays are already done for this session. But if you have any traders in chat, say hello. And if you need any help with your trading, you want to get to the next level, I'm here to help you. I do work as a trading coach as well, so I can hopefully give some value. But yeah, still not really seeing anything specific here. Not seeing anything specific. If there's any markets that you want me to cover as well, just let me know. Do you trade maybe NQ or crude or whatever? I can look at these markets. I don't trade them myself, but you know, the market structure is always universal. I think the big difference between these indices and maybe crude, for example, and commodities is that I don't think order flow is as important. You don't get that clean order flow on commodities. Usually much smaller delta levels, and you can't really read of that delta because it's such a small difference. But on indices, there's so much more liquidity. You can really read off these delta levels and volume changes. Well, yep. Right now, all the markets are having a small pullback. We almost ran the high on YM. Not quite. Not quite. And now we just have a ad again on the wrong YouTube channel, so I'm getting the ads. Getting the ads. Let's take that away. For a moment. For a moment, yes. Not really a lot of things to do here. I might be ending the stream soon. So I'll give it 5 minutes. If you have in 5 minutes some type of conversation here, I'll stay for a while and take that conversation into the end. But otherwise, I'll start ending the stream. I have no trades left. Really nothing to say. Just me watching and seeing what's gonna happen. In ES, probably we're gonna have a zipper here between ETH VWAP and RTH VWAP. And then I'm looking for a break outside of that zipper to the upside into the previous close. But not gonna take that play because risk reward is not there on that specific play. So I'll be just sitting on the sidelines. All the planned setups already happened today. Yeah, 5 minutes, let's say at 16:18. I'm gonna call it a session. I don't have my green screen set up as well today. I'm just, you can see my background fully. Didn't have the time to set it up. I'm not sure if it disturbs you. I think it's probably easier to see things when I have the green screen because then my environment is transparent, so you can actually see the DOM better, you can see the charts better, and I can maybe position myself a little bit better compared to what I'm doing right now. But yeah, YM is for sure creating some value right now in this specific area. A lot of value. So right now, if you reject, it would be really, really rough. For people who are taking longs here in the zipper. But for sure, I think that this high is gonna get run because it's a poor high. So something like this is possible, or then we just continue to the upside, which I think is the highest possibility. A very bullish market overall. ES is still making that zipper that I was talking about. It's doing exactly what I guessed. And now it's up to ES to show if the end result is the same. Someone has any good uncopyrighted music as well, let me know. It's actually quite hard to get like a clean playlist. I know there are ones, but I want more calm and chill music, because in training you don't wanna get raised up, you don't want to get hyped, you want to be very, very chill, you know, lofi vibes, very calm and collected. You don't want like hard rock hallelujah, even if I love rock music over everything. And you know, there could be some rock music that works, but it has to be calm and not copyrighted, obviously. Otherwise I could like play Scorpions or something, you know, just calm, beautiful music. Heart rate is showing 86 right now, which is surprisingly high, but maybe that's because I ate before my training session. I have a watch and I use that to track my heart rate when I'm trading, and then when I do my review I look at my heart rate so I can see if I was flustered or not. And it's a great way for anyone who's trading to see if they have maybe too much at play or there's something to improve on, because yeah, a high heart rate is usually a bad sign. You get this fight or flight reaction, which is not good when you're trading. You don't wanna preemptively exit your trades or start doing mistakes because your emotions are at play. Alright, ES is now doing the pullback to RTH, and then I'm still looking at this red level here for the close future. Alright, but once you look at that, 16:18, that was the time I set for myself. And this session, unfortunately for you guys, was very boring. 0 trades. Didn't get a trade. No worries. New day tomorrow. Friday is not one of my favorite trading days, to be honest. At least when I'm up a lot on the week, I usually like to skip Friday, just because it's a mentally hard day to trade if you're up on the week. And the logic comes from the fact that if you're up many $1,000s, you know, on a week, and then suddenly on Friday you give a little bit back from those profits, like a normal amount, it's very easy to want to get those profits that you already made on the week back. And it's a very dangerous day, so usually if I'm up a lot, a significant amount on a week, I skip Friday trading. But now, obviously we only have one trade this week, so that's not gonna be an issue. Not gonna be an issue, but yeah, being super selective here, not finding any trades. We're just gonna call it a session. Alright guys, I hope if there was someone watching today that you learned something and you got something. If you want to see me in the future doing these type of streams and showing myself trading my strategy live, trying to also help people on their trading journey, subscribe and leave some comments. Yeah, but nothing special here to say anymore. I had a fun stream, a pretty boring session, but that's how it goes. Trading is boring when it's done right, and you should not trade for dopamine and excitement. Alright, Juzzle is out. Have a great day, have a great time. My boom arm is falling down right now. I have to make some adjustments off stream. Thank you everyone for watching. My name is Juzzle, and I'm out. Bye guys.